Look, you've seen that no logs promise 1,000 times, right? But what if I told you the server you're tunneling through isn't in some secure bunker in Iceland? It's a virtual instance, running on a state-owned subnet. It's a brilliant piece of marketing, really. You pay $5 a month for this warm, fuzzy sense of security, believing your traffic is invisible to the world. But look, we need to talk about the actual physics of the internet for a second. No nonsense. Your VPN doesn't create some magic portal. It just redirects your data to someone else's computer. And here's the kicker. We never ask whose computer that actually is. Most major VPN providers don't even own their hardware. I mean, they rent it. They're essentially just white labeling space in these massive industrial-grade data centers. And this is where it gets daunting. Urgent. These data centers are often owned by massive conglomerates with deep ties to national security apparatuses. So whilst you think you're hiding from your ISP, you're quite literally handing your unencrypted requests to an exit node, sitting in a rack owned by a company that is legally obligated to cooperate with the state. Think about it. This is the honeypot concept. Intelligence agencies don't need to waste years trying to crack high-level AES encryption or hunting for zero-day exploits in your browser. Why would they? It's much easier to simply own the exit door. When your data leaves that VPN server and heads out to the open web, that is where the mask falls off. If the agency owns the hardware, they see the correlation. They see exactly who you are and where you're going in real time. It is a bloody massive oversight in our collective digital hygiene. Look, your private tunnel isn't some impenetrable fortress. It is a glass pipe, mate. You are moving through it, thinking you are hidden, while everyone on the outside is just watching you pass through, logging every single packet. The illusion of privacy is often more dangerous than having no privacy at all, because it gives you the confidence to do things you otherwise wouldn't. Look, we have been sold a lie that a simple app can shield us from state-level surveillance. But in reality, we are just walking straight into the trap they built for us. Look, you've seen the ads. We've all seen them. You've heard your favorite creators swear that for the price of a bloody coffee, you can somehow become a digital ghost. They call it the Ghost Protocol, or some other high-octane branding designed to make you feel like a secret agent. Right. But here's the reality. These are not tech companies. I mean, they're just marketing machines with a server rack in the basement. They've spent billions of dollars to convince you that a single click, one sleek interface, can bypass the entire surveillance power of the state. It's a brilliant piece of fiction, honestly. Whilst they're busy buying up every ad slot on the planet, the actual infrastructure? It's a mess. Just rented hardware and white-labeled software. They sell you on the idea of a tunnel, but in reality, they're just building a funnel. Look, I want you to think about how this actually works. Giving your data to a VPN isn't deleting your footprint. It's just handing the keys to someone else.
Think of it like this. You've got a stack of secret letters you need to send, and you're worried the post office might peek at the envelopes. So, instead of using the public system, you walk into a back alley and hand those letters to a total stranger who promises, "I won't look, I swear." That is your VPN. You've taken a decentralized problem and turned it into a massive, single point of failure. You're trusting a company, often registered in some shell corporation graveyard, to value your privacy over their own legal survival. And then we have the no logs policy. God, I love this one. It's quite literally a legal fiction designed by PR firms, not mathematicians. You see, in the world of cybersecurity, a promise is not a protocol. If a government agency shows up with a court order, that no logs policy becomes a bloody massive liability for the company. They will flip. They always do. Because at the end of the day, their business model isn't built on protecting you. It's built on recurring monthly subscriptions from people who just don't know any better. But that's not even the craziest part. Because once you realize who actually owns the infrastructure these VPNs are running on, the illusion of the ghost protocol doesn't just fade, it turns into a total nightmare. Look, to really understand why this is a complete disaster, you have to look at the architecture of the deception. I mean, think of your ISP as just a massive chaotic sorting office. They see millions of packets passing through, sure, but they're usually way too disorganized to build a perfect profile on you without a lot of manual labor. But when you use a VPN, you're essentially handing all your mail to a single private courier who promises to keep it secret. The irony is, well, that courier now has a neatly indexed chronological ledger of everything you do. You've done the hard work for the state, mate. You've consolidated your entire digital footprint into one single convenient pipeline. Whilst the marketing fluff bangs on about military-grade encryption, the reality is that the content of your traffic is often irrelevant to a sophisticated actor. What they really want is the metadata. Look, in the world of cybersecurity, metadata is king. It's the who, the when, and the where. It's the timestamp of when you logged on, the IP address you used, and exactly how long you stayed there. If I know you spent 4 hours on a specific dark web forum at 3 a.m. every Tuesday, I don't even need to read your encrypted messages to know exactly who you are. Metadata is the skeleton of your digital life. And these VPNs, they're just building the closet to store it in. And here is the kicker, the absolute gut punch. When a national security letter hits a server room in Virginia or London, those no logs promises, they evaporate instantly. These are secret subpoenas that come with a mandatory gag order. The company quite literally cannot tell you they are being watched or that they've started logging your every move. They are forced to become a silent tap for the state. But it's not just the government you should be worried about. It's the data brokers.
Over the last few years, we've seen this daunting trend of corporate acquisitions that should make your skin crawl. Seemingly pro-privacy VPNs are being quietly bought up by the very entities they claim to protect you from. Data brokers and ad tech giants are snapping up these services because they realize that a VPN is the ultimate surveillance tool. It's not just a breach of trust. It's a business strategy. They are turning your private history into an indexed, searchable database, just waiting for the highest bidder or the most powerful subpoena. But you might think, surely there are some companies that stay independent, some that actually hold the line? Well, that is where the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Because even if the company is honest, the hardware they're using might be part of a much larger and much darker game. The reality is, well, we've been sold a dream that is slowly turning into a nightmare. You really have to ask yourself, is it actually worth it? Look, if you were just trying to unblock the American version of Netflix to binge a show that's geo-restricted, then sure, pay your $10 a month and enjoy the content. But if you are looking for true anonymity, if you are trying to shield your digital footprint from the eyes of a state actor, a commercial VPN is a bloody massive trap. It is quite literally a honeypot, disguised as a safety net. The industry has spent millions on sleek marketing and YouTube sponsorships just to convince you that one click makes you invisible. But whilst you are clicking that big green connect button, the reality is that we have been sold a false sense of security that puts activists and whistleblowers in genuine danger. I mean, it's the ultimate irony, right? You are paying a monthly subscription fee to be indexed by the very entities you are trying to avoid. You are trading your ISP's eyes for a shadowy third party, one that answers to a subpoena you will never see. The age of trusting a third party is dead. It has to be. If you want to move through the digital world without leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for the highest bidder, the path forward is much more complex than a mobile app. The actual future lies in decentralized, open source protocols. I am talking about onion routing and self-hosted WireGuard instances where no single entity holds the keys to your kingdom. It is daunting, and it requires a level of technical literacy that most companies would prefer you didn't have. But that is the price of entry now. If you are not controlling the hardware, you are not the one in charge. In a world where every packet of data is a commodity, you have to make a choice. Don't be a product. Be a ghost. Look, I've put a link in the description to a technical breakdown of the few protocols and setups that actually work in the real world. Go through it. Learn it. Because the algorithm is not going to protect you. And the government certainly won't. I'll see you in the next one.